I'm about that. Cause I'm about that.
I'm about that come up, running up on them fools that are talking foolish. Try to get them funds up, killing them mic just like I ran at Jules. And y'all gonna get done up front and on that kid with an attitude. But you can't really blame this motherfucker for what he had to do. I'm about that cash flipping, I'm getting it on and off the market. Not about that VIP, not me, not never been a fan of carpets. All about that RIP for all of my Jesus gone departed. All about that finish when I started, I'm about that.
Top down all night, you're not ready. We ride, cause we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night. Down all night, you're not ready. We ride, cause we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night.
Know that I'm about it. Want a man I can bring the drama, but it ain't by chance I'm fucking rapping. You don't really want a problem. Made a little cash in the back end, but still rapping, they call me starving. Yeah, y'all gotta ask who the man is. Hope I'm gonna be like, beg your pardon. I'm about that.
Top down all night, you're not ready. We ride, cause we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night. Down all night, you're not ready. We ride, cause we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is the Ysn Power Hour, made popular by Coach O last night on 60 Minutes. Don't you guys? I sent everybody the text. He said he loves Power Hour, so I don't know if he meant us as a Power Hour or what he does on the phone as a Power Hour or whatever he does, but he said it, so we're going to take it. So welcome into a Monday edition after a big weekend of football. You had pro football, college football, and of course we had high school football on Friday and Saturday, and it was awesome right here on YSN. Boys, before we get started with football, we're going to talk about National New York Day. So unfortunately, our favorite New Yorker, no offense, Jamie, is not here right now. So we will talk about our favorite parts of New York. The Yankees are on the table. We'll leave it there. And we'll the angriest man on the board, we will start with Billy Mack.
My favorite part of New York is when you leave.
All right. Quinn, take that.
Yeah, I can't fault him. It's true. You don't have traffic and stuff, but Madison Square Garden's pretty cool.
MSG.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right. Romo making his triumphant return in the basement no one has configured yet. But it's such weird dimensions.
Sorry. Favorite part of New York, I guess, would just be Saquon, but he's hurt now, so there's just nothing good going on in there.
Everybody got hurt.
Everyone's tearing their ACL. I just saw Bruce Irvin tore his ACL for the Seahawks now.
Yeah,
Cortland Sutton did as well.
Whoa.
My ACLs are good. I didn't get hurt this weekend.
Mine's been torn. It doesn't matter.
Oh my gosh, we're derailed already. We didn't even get to Jamie yet, and he's got cowboy headgear. He's got a cowboy jersey on. Jamie, your favorite part of New York?
How could it not be Yankee Stadium? There's nothing better.
The new Yankee Stadium or old Yankee Stadium?
Well, I've been to both, and personally, the old one was pretty sweet, but it was time to knock it down and build the new one, so I'll go with the new one.
All right. Paul Munson, your favorite part of New York?
I've only been there once, and I only saw the outskirts because I was getting on a boat. So I guess the favorite part of New York is it's sort of a downer, but it was a good upswing was after September 11th, the way that New York came together and fought strong. So
I can appreciate that. Ty Bartell, your favorite part of New York?
Well, I've never actually been to the city itself. I've been to the state a few times. Niagara Falls was pretty cool. But if we're talking the city, it's usually watching any of those pro sports teams lose.
Oh, I can pick the state.
Yeah, you can pick the state.
Oh, Cooperstown.
Nice job. Did you think New York was just a city, or?
I thought it was just a city. I thought we were talking about just the city. I didn't know we were talking about the state too.
No, it's a pretty big state. Like an
I know that. I thought we were talking about the city.
Yeah.
Quinn, you thought it was a city too?
Yeah. I wouldn't. I don't like New York.
I mean, I understand it's a state. It's not like I forgot.
I just thought everybody was like, all right, we're gonna dive in and just beat up
Is
on
there
New York
National
City.
Ohio Day?
Every day's Ohio Day.
Probably
That's-
Friday the 13th. That's just Ohio Day always.
Mike McKenzie, your favorite part of New York, either the state or the city. Go ahead.
I've actually only been to the city in New York, so either Madison Square Garden, I really liked going there, or I was actually there for the
Wait a minute.
He's like the city or the state. I've only been inside the city of New York. You've been inside the state of New York too.
No, I mean like New York City is the only place I've been to inside the state of New York. That's what I was trying to hit home.
Did you go
Did
via
you fly in
parachute?
there? Did they
No,
drop
I
you from a
flew.
helicopter?
No, the only part of New York, the state, I have been to is New York City
How'd you get there?
by a plane.
Okay.
And you flew into an airport, and then you flew out. That was
Yes,
it.
yes.
No driving around.
No,
No nothing.
Well, we drove around inside the city, but no driving outside of New York City.
Okay, now we're all on the same page.
All on the
Continue.
same page. We are good. Either MSG or I actually went down there for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade a few years ago. That was actually really sweet. So either MSG or the actual parade.
And that's a bummer. It's either not gonna happen or it's gonna be very limited this year for the Thanksgiving. Quinn doesn't watch it. Is that true? You've never seen it in your life?
Quinn probably just turns on the Thanksgiving Day football preview.
Yep.
That's what he said.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've watched it once in my life.
The Lions,
when I was a kid.
Cowboys, eat myself into a coma. That's
So
all
you're
I do.
saying the whole time growing up when you were a little kid, it wasn't on the TV and you passed by it and didn't know?
No.
I'm with you, Quinn. I've never seen it either. I never.
What the hell do we
Wow.
have here?
I know. I know.
I watch it every year.
I don't watch it.
But I'm with Quinn. I just watched football on Thursday on the third Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That was more of a tradition.
I love
Lions
the
and
Cowboys.
Your
Cowboys.
parents woke me up
Your
to start to
parents
watch that whole parade.
My parents didn't care either. The parade. So what?
Bunch of
On TV. It's not even a parade you're at.
Like you didn't even get to stay up for or sit through it to see Santa Claus at the end to know when
No,
you got to be
The
good.
Santa I saw was the guy at the Southern Park Mall that was probably an ex-convict or something.
We're not going to get into that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to talk shit on Santa right now. We're just not going to do that.
You know, Billy, you kind of look like Santa, actually.
Why else could we watch it? We're not going to do that.
That's
Yeah, let's not ruin it for Mike and tell him that Santa's not real.
Sorry, Mike.
whoa!
We're not going to do that either, Quinn. We're gonna-
Hey,
Way to
secret,
go,
I
Paul.
don't know if my parents know this, but I definitely know Santa.
Whoa!
Dude, my seventh grade
We're not
algebra-
gonna no.
My
no.
7th grade algebra teacher told me at least the Easter Bunny.
Stop. We're derailing. Stop. You're gonna get ejected if you talk about it again.
All right.
We are not gonna ruin children's dreams here on the Power Hour. We've already ruined Jeff's. We've pretty much ruined everybody on the panel.
Jeff
We
did
are
that
not
for
going to
himself.
ruin the next generation of YSN. Oh my gosh, that got. Well, look what you did, Quinn. All because you didn't watch a damn parade.
You and Ty.
You got
I
Betos is
didn't
here,
say
guys.
anything after I said I didn't watch the parade.
I don't know.
goodness.
Jeff must be talking about about the Mets, but they're definitely not the best baseball team.
Why do you hate Jeff so much? Here, let's.
I don't. I just hate the Yankees.
Somebody play some piano music right now because we're gonna have a chat.
I've got a piano upstairs. I've got a piano upstairs. You guys want me to go play it?
Oh, and of course he goes right at Paul. I don't understand.
Jesus, Paul.
Mike, why do you hate Jeff so much? We got.
I don't hate Jeff. I
You were
hate
beat-
the Yankees.
You were beating him up real good in our group chat. Real good.
I hate the Yankees. And he took it very personally. So then it turned into, I don't know what you want to call it.
Bullying? Like you are bullying a grown-ass man?
We bully each other.
No.
Nope.
You got.
How many times has he gone? Dude, who carries a piano upstairs? I don't know. That's my mom. I'll ask them. Ask my mom. That's her.
Mike
That's
McKenzie's
hers.
got this like body armor because he's still under that 18 limit. So you can only get like body jabs. No one's going for the head.
There's
punch
no headshots right now.
Mike. That's the difference.
Jeff pulled his punches.
We had to hold Jeff back the one day because he was coming for you. He was coming, and we had to remind him who your dad was because that wouldn't have ended up.
Yeah,
well.
he kept going like South Range is so much better than Beaver Local. Like I said, South Range was a terrible football program or something.
Wow.
I didn't say that at all.
Where's Omaha the Cricket when you need him? Oh my goodness. All right, let's turn the page.
Dig in
My
the
goodness,
hole
yeah.
right
Like, do you want a shovel for as much digging as you're doing right now? Goodness, Mike. Goodness. All right, guys, we saw a lot of football this past weekend. There's been a lot of teams that have done a lot of good things. Who do you think out of all the teams is the best team? And we're not talking about divisions. We're just talking the best team in the area that you've seen that you go, wow, that's pretty daggone impressive. We'll start with you, Michael McKenzie. Please don't throw shade on anybody. Go ahead.
I won't throw shade on anybody because there's no shade to throw on when Austintown Fitch is a YSN school and in this area. Austintown Fitch hasn't lost. They played a close game against Harding, but Harding is a fantastic football program. They're a fantastic football school, and Fitch went in there, and the Falcons got the job done at home. If you're watching Austintown Fitch, they blew out Borman, blew out Ursuline. Yes, Cheney gave them a fight. Probably a little bit of a trap game, something you see when the Steelers played the Raiders a few years ago. But Austintown Fitch continuously, night after night, gets the job done and gets it done in convincing fashion. And I honestly don't see any team in this area better than the Falcons currently.
It's a good pick. Ty, are you going to venture from that, or are you going to stay on that?
It's hard to pick against Fitch. The other one I would probably say right now, Massillon is another powerhouse school right now that's super good. But I mean, with the Falcons, I think it's just more impressive that this is TJ Parker's first year, and what we see constantly week in and week out, he is not afraid to be aggressive. And trick play after trick play, game against Harding, they got guys in a huddle formation going for an onside kick. Warren wasn't expecting it. Didn't culminate in a score, but it did burn some more clock. And we see that TJ Parker's already leaving his stamp on this Austintown program in his first year, 4 games into the season, and he's beaten powerhouse schools that they've had struggles against. I mean, Warren Harding, they were 1-4 in their last 5 matchups against the Raiders, and the Raiders have really dominated this rivalry as of late. So beating them, huge. I mean, Cleveland Benedictine, I think, is going to be the hardest game on their schedule, though, and that's coming up.
But we hear that every single week, don't we? Like,
it is. It gets progressively difficult for the Falcons, but they keep rising to the challenge. And I will say that Coach Parker has done a phenomenal job about having his team face adversity and respond to it. Because again, they were facing that against Harding and were able to respond.
Remind me to come back with a question, Ty, when this is all said and done, because I've got a question about Coach Parker and the impact that he's had in such a short time. Paul Munson, who has been the most impressive team in the area to you?
I'd like to say Fitch, but everybody keeps jumping on that one. I mean, I guess to be a homer, I mean, since I'm right here, I mean, South Range has been impressive. I mean, besides Jefferson, Jefferson's the only other Division V school in that league, and they have just week after week just been pounding the ball. And I mean, last week Patron with the school record 5 touchdowns. He spread the ball out to 4 different guys. I mean, Dominguez is running like a monster out there. I mean, they're all the tools that they have right now. They're able to just really kind of not do the normal South Range stuff and run. I mean, Dominguez didn't even have 90. He had 90 yards rushing. I mean, he hasn't had 100 yards, I think, in a while. So they're doing it other ways and just doing it impressively. So, I mean, they've got 2 more big games left. And to Ty's point, too, he is true at saying they're getting stronger with Fitch. Cleveland Benedictine this week, Big Red comes to town next week. So their games are going to get progressively tougher. So, but I'd have to stick with South Range, just being a homer.
Okay. Woody, what do you got?
I mean, was this ever a question? Obviously, the Hubbard Eagles. No, I'm kidding. Realistically, no, definitely not Hubbard. They are 4-0 though, so we'll see after these next 2 weeks. But for me, I was on Fitch week 2 after they beat up on Ursuline, but then a close game against Cheney, a close game against Harding. Those aren't 2 joke teams. I mean, those are 2 legit teams. But for me, I'm going with Canfield. I mean, it's been 4 weeks. They've just been beating the heck out of people, and it wasn't a 1-score game against New Philadelphia. But New Philly turned around and beat the snot out of Steubenville this week. So I'm going to go with the Canfield.
Anthony Romo, your choice of the best team in the area.
Since I figured that Fitch was going to be a popular pick, I'll go with Springfield. So I mean, every team they play. I mean, okay, yeah, they're a low division, but they just take care of business every single time they play. Bo Brungard, he has so many weapons. Like I don't know if anyone's going to be able to stop them in the playoffs. That's going to be fun to watch. And on another note, yeah, that Hubbard and South Range, that's going to be a fun game week 6 for sure. We'll see how Hubbard fares this week against Poland, but I know it'd be a pretty packed game if Corona wasn't going around. I know there'd be a lot of people there, so that kind of sucks, but I think it'll still be a good game week 6.
That being said, you
know where
guys
they
will
can go.
actually have that game. So there's going to be a lot of people tuned in. Is there a little bit of nervousness? Are you guys going to be like kids in the candy store? Are we going to get more people complaining about the Hubbard homerisms?
No.
More than likely, yeah, actually. Romo's going to say no, but everyone's going to complain. That's just how it is. We're just out here having fun.
Hey, you'll be at home. You know, Jamie, it's okay. You guys will be at your stadium. You know, the Raider fans can tune in and, just tune in for a victory, no matter who's announcing it. It's okay.
Hey, look, I give love to everybody. You might think I'm a homer. I'm not a homer. I'm a truther. I just tell it how it is.
I'm just saying we can do a little bit of a side bet. If Hubbard wins, maybe Munson has to wear Hubbard to school that next day, and if South Range wins, maybe a Raider jersey to the Cowboy and Tony Romo.
I'd be willing to do that. I'd
I'll
definitely
make
be
it
willing to
happen.
do that.
I got plenty of jerseys here.
Romo's saying, "Don't include me in this nonsense."
Hey, I'm all in.
No, and you were asking if there's going to be extra jitters. I don't think there will be any extra jitters come that night. I mean, Jamie and I, if anything, we're going to be really excited. We've been talking about these two matchups with Poland and South Range literally all day. We're really excited. I mean, it sucks that we can't broadcast the Hubbard game this week. I know it's a WKVN game of the week, but I think for surely in week 6, Hubbard South Range will be the YSN game of the week.
I don't like that. Don't.
Romo.
Come on.
But I will say you guys.
No, I'm just no. I wasn't done yet. You didn't hear the end of it?
We'll talk about it in the locker room.
Yeah, we'll clear this one out there, Skipper.
Yeah.
parking
But hey,
lot.
you guys do get an awesome game this week, though. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
talk
we
about
do.
that. I mean, you guys are able to. I mean, Ty unable because he's going to a wedding, so he turns over the keys to the Lambo to the two most, I don't know what, polarizing announcers at YSN, and I don't think Fitch knows what they're about to get because you guys are going all in with the Birds, right?
You want to go
I'm
first?
not showing
Romo?
any bias. I'm not showing any bias.
You're a
I'm going to show
liar.
passion for both teams.
You're a liar.
Hey, I'm all in on Austin Town. You know, Ty clearly doesn't have the devotion, the loyalty to YSN. I mean, Redding, YSN. Don't worry, Ty. We'll take care
Wait a
of
minute.
it.
Wait a minute.
I'm doing a game Friday. What the hell are you talking about?
have loyalty. He's
I'm
gonna
kidding,
cover a
I'm
game
kidding,
for us
I'm
on
kidding.
Friday.
Didn't
What?
you just go to a wedding?
Yes, I
I
did.
guess
Yes,
you didn't miss a game though, so.
that's true. But I'm just kidding. I love you, Ty. Ty, nothing but love, man.
Give me them keys back. Give me the keys to the Lambo back. I'm giving you one of the greatest games in the area.
Quincy, how you feeling about the best team in the area?
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna probably love me saying this, but I got to go with Canfield. They're impressive to me. They're beating up on teams. They're basically imposing their will. They're one of the best teams in the area, in my opinion. And we'll see where they go. I mean, we'll see. I mean, they get out early, they hit you in the mouth, and they just kind of keep going with it. So that one's impressive to me. And I mean, Ty kind of went out of the area a little bit, but it's still, I guess, our area. I'm going to do the same. Akron Hoban, Archbishop Hoban, they're 3-0. And they shut out St. Ed's 35-0. I mean, if you shut out St. Ed's, you're doing something right. So
I can respect that. Billy Mack, who you got best team in the area?
I'm not going to pick Fitch just because I think they're trending downward right now. I think they're getting ready to hit a buzzsaw here the last 2 weeks. And I don't really like the way they played the last 2 weeks either. I mean, they beat up a bad team in Boardman, and then they beat Ursuline, who just wasn't ready to win games yet. But they look great in those 2 games. Going forward, they haven't looked the same way. So
I got him.
I'm going to go with Canfield because I just like the way that they're playing. And my former high school coach is there too.
So you're just sour that your boys at the U got beat by Fitch.
No, listen. You're
Because
talking about
you presented your argument and then you kind of just slipped it in there that they were playing a team that wasn't really ready for. Like, how can you be on a downward trajectory if you're 4-0?
Listen, just because you win, I mean, they looked impressive the first 2 weeks, and then the last couple weeks they haven't looked impressive. That's all. They're trending, not in a good way. They're not trending up. Yeah, they're winning games. They're not trending up.
How do you win games and not trend up?
I mean,
You're
you,
slipping
can
in the
say,
rain.
you use professional football. The Cowboys won a game yesterday. Did they really win that game, or did the Falcons
Yes.
blow it like they normally
As a matter of
do?
fact, they did win that game. I don't think there's a statistic for you. The other team blew
Did
it.
they go out and win that? I mean, it was 42-37 or whatever the hell it was.
They
It was
played till the end.
like 39, 20 something.
39, really.
39.
Yeah, it's there's you can win games when teams let you win games. Okay.
Help me out with that one.
Okay, I think
with that. There's times
let me try to translate because
very good and you win games. You cannot play very good and win games. And right now, I think compared to the first 2 weeks, they played really well, great football. And the last 2 weeks, I don't think they played great football, but they won games.
But can you say this about it, Billy? Can you say maybe the first couple weeks they played teams that weren't that good and they were able to slobber knocker them?
Yes.
Whereas like week 3 and 4, they're playing tougher teams. Like Ty said, their schedule is going up to play better teams, and they're just playing, tougher teams. So it's a little tougher to win more impressively to you.
Listen, I think, first off, I think Fitch is a top 3 team in the area. It's not like I'm sitting here shitting on them. I'm just saying I think that they're trending down a little bit and their schedule is getting harder. So we'll see where that goes. But I think Canfield right now is the hottest team at the right time.
I'm not taking anything away from Canfield. I was just more intrigued about what you said about Fitch and kind of how you trend down. I mean, I don't know that any team that is 4-0 at this point has an arrow down. I think everybody's green arrow up and probably up and up and up. So I respect
it's that old saying of winning. When you win games, it cures all issues, but that's not necessarily the truth behind the scenes. There could be. Just not on just Fitch, but with anybody. Just because you win a game doesn't mean everything is all good. You know what I mean? Yes.
I guess you'd have to lose a game to figure that out first. But Fitch is not, and that's my biggest thing. And I'll
they haven't lost a game because they haven't played a great team yet. So when they play a really great team,
they play who they put in front of them.
I get that. I'm just saying. Right now,
so listen. If they go to Benedictine and they go beat Benedictine,
yes,
are they legit? Or are you going to come back and be like, well, that wasn't the team we thought it was going to be because now they got to play Steubenville? Like, come on. Like, give credit where credit is due. This is a first year coach who battled through Corona with a team that's now 4-0. You have a hard enough transition when you have everything to prepare for, and Coach Parker's out there just lining these guys up, and he's got brass balls that he's carrying around in a wheelbarrow going for some of these things that he's going for. Let's just be honest.
I don't feel sympathy for any coach. Everybody's going through the Corona issue.
But not everybody's in their first year at a Division II
There's
school.
plenty of coaches out there that are in their first year, though.
Are they 4-0?
Yeah, that's my question. Are
No,
they
but you
4-0?
can't use that argument of he should get a bonus, high five because he's 4-0 and he's dealing through all this. I mean, everybody's on the same playing field when it comes to that.
Well, then I don't want to ever hear the excuse of a Browns fan that this is a first-year head coach and he hasn't had time with Corona. It's the same thing I hear, but the opposite applies too. No, we sit here and we analyze and we say, well, we're going to give him a pass because it's his first year and he didn't have all the time. He didn't have a preseason. He didn't have listen, the opposite applies as well. If you don't have all that as a high school coach and you are undefeated, you sit there. Now, T.J. Parker will be the first to point to his kids and say it's the kids. But it's also they are believing in his system, believing in what he's doing and his coaching staff is doing. And they're doing it at a very high level.
I'm not knocking Fitch. I'm picking hairs between a Canfield who looks just great right now to a Fitch.
I'm not trying to – I guess I am defending, but I'm just trying to figure out how that is.
I like Fitch. I've been on Fitch's bandwagon from basically week one. I'm just saying between the two, this is why I'm picking Canfield over Fitch.
Did you pick Fitch or Ursuline?
I picked what, in the game?
Yeah.
I picked Ursuline in that game.
So you've been on Fitch's bandwagon since day one.
No, I didn't. I didn't pick Ursuline in that game. I didn't because that was the game I deked everybody.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah, I picked Fitch. I said they weren't. Ursuline wasn't ready to win this kind of game yet.
Well, I guess the big thing will be this week, and we'll get a difference of if Billy's right or not, because Canfield's going to play Cheney, and Cheney lost by a touchdown to Fitch. So we'll see if Canfield just blows their doors off, then
or lose.
Then we'll see that Billy's point is right, that maybe okay, they weren't playing as good a teams, but I don't think that Dover team that Canfield played last week was like
See, I don't even think that score is apples to apples. I think it's apples to oranges because I mean different teams present different problems for different schemes.
Right.
Am I wrong? I mean, that's,
right. And different coaches present, they go after those weaknesses a little bit heavier than some other ones. Maybe because you want to get, X, Y, and Z the ball more. And even if you're up by 10, that might give you the comfort to say, hey, let's get this guy touches.
I gotta be honest too, is that Cheney team is a completely different team than we saw the first 2 and maybe even 3 weeks of the season. Like we saw them come on against Fitch. We saw them turn that corner. And then obviously against Mooney, they turned the corner and sprinted down the street because they are the team that we thought they would be. But they did this last year, didn't they? Didn't they start slow and then start getting up? And we've said it on Power Hours. This could be a very dangerous team in the playoffs. Whenever we get to that point, because it's a misleading record. Because Paul, you all right?
Yeah.
What just happened?
Nothing.
Okay.
Swallowed that ice cube a little wrong. I was chewing on it.
Thought you were going down. We were gonna have our first Power Hour death via the ice cube. But no, I mean, for me, the most impressive team that I've seen personally, I haven't seen Canfield in person. Had a chance to talk to Coach Pavlansky. Haven't seen Fitch in person. Had a chance to talk to Coach Park. I've seen Springfield. My goodness. Bo Brungard throwing 6 touchdowns, I think. 5 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns. And he didn't even play the entire game. Louisville threw Philly at Springfield. They threw everything in the kitchen sink at Springfield, and they still were able to push through on the other side. There's just so much talent on that Tiger team. You look at Clayton Nesbitt. They haven't had their first string running back due to an ejection in week 2, I think. Like, this is a very, very good team, and Bo Brungard's just a junior, and he just continues to show off each and every week. You've got Slike at receiver. You've got Gardner at receiver. You can name the entire roster. Springfield is set up for success, and hopefully they're able to get tested a little bit before they get to the playoffs, because I think we've all talked about it. Mogador is waiting for a little bit. Round 2, correct? Didn't they play last year and Springfield got the better of them? Mogador's waiting, so we'll see how it goes.
Mogador's a good football team. That's a good game for them.
There's going to be a lot of good games down the stretch.
I think they'll get a test week 6, as long as Jackson Milton stays undefeated.
I think so too.
Fun game.
It's going to be a high scoring game. It's going to be one of those.
Not going to get a test. This is Waterloo this week. So
take it easy. It's a YSN school. We don't say that they're not going to get tested. We've seen things happen. I mean, this is what I talked about in the playoffs. If Waterloo wants to make an impact, this is the week that these guys get up for, right? You
but
just
it's at
never
Springfield, though. That's the tough thing. I mean, going to Springfield and going into the Monsters' den is a little different.
How is it different this year? It's way different. There's no fans.
Yeah, but it's still their place. If it was the games at Waterloo, maybe there's an opportunity there. But that's why, I mean, next week Springfield goes to Jackson Milton, so that could be, something when they have to go on the road and try to defend that. So
James Bartell joining us today as always. Thanks, Mr. Bartell. We appreciate you meeting him for the first time at Birdfish the other night. So EB and I and Ty and Mr. Bartell broke bread. That was a good time. Here's my thing with that whole situation, Paul, is Springfield is so good. Like, so good. Like, unbelievably good, where they're just slinging they ran dives. They had a kickoff return. They had so many things going for them on all 3 facets of the game: offense, defense, special teams. It's going to be a very dangerous team to stop. However, I don't want to say they don't know how to win close games, because we've seen a couple already, and then they take over. So maybe it's not as close on the scoreboard as it was, but they've got to be able to go against the grain a little bit. They've got to be able to tighten up the ship, because you can't.
They got to have some adversity. They haven't had that yet.
I don't want to say they haven't had adversity. I mean, they've had some adversity. They've had some. I mean, there's some injuries out there. I'm not going to name any names, that are out there right now that could impact them this week. So just keep your eyes open and your ears open for that, because there's some. Here we go.
Ty, you let us know how that goes on Friday. You and B Miller, if any of those injuries help or hurt them out.
Beto's throwing shade. So Michael, go at him. Go get him.
Go get it. Okay,
Go get him.
I will. I gotta save it for the right time. Can't do it on the spot when I've already attacked him for everything to this point.
Stay behind your iPhone and make sure you just tap that around.
Yeah.
Who has been the most surprising team in the area to you guys? I'll start because I went last. We'll go reverse skate here. I gotta say, not that I'm surprised that they're successful, but and how they've been successful. The Crestview Rebels have been incredible. They have just been running through people left and right. Paul Cusick and his staff over there have got these guys fired up, and they did it again on Friday. Mac, who's the most surprising team in the area for you?
I'm gonna pick two. And the reason why I'm gonna pick two is the first one is because of what happened last year. Last year with the 2-8 season, with Ursuline coming out scoring points, they look like a whole new team, basically from start to finish. And they're starting to learn how to win games. And it's a good year when you know for sure you're going to be into the playoffs too.
Quinn, what about you? Oh, sorry, you had two.
I really think Southern is a team that with that stout defense has week in and week out pretty much impressed me. Huge. I think that they're a really good team. I think they might go far in the playoffs just for the simple fact that they play great defense.
I'm interested in this week. Southern goes up against United, the high-flying offense of the Eagles. Here's a spoiler alert. I'm taking the Eagles, Coach Ogilvy and Brutus all day with Keaton Baker on the outside. They have been absolutely unbelievable. Like, that's the team that goes under the radar and doesn't get any love from anybody. And that's the way Coach Ogilvy likes it.
I don't know enough about United. I just know they score a lot of points. So it'll be a good test this weekend for Southern.
You can take a flight down there. You can watch them on Friday.
Or I can just go right to YSN headquarters and watch them there.
There it is. Crack yourself a natty and enjoy it. Quinn, go ahead. Who's the most surprising team in the area to you?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it. And, Billy kind of took the Southern thing from me. And, we
were talking about them last week.
Two teams. That's why.
Yeah, Billy throwing out multiple teams. And, United is one of those ones. You could say what you want about who they play and all that stuff. But, they're slinging it. Brutus is putting up 400 yards a game basically, and that's impressive in its own way. But the most impressive to me is Jackson Milton, not only being undefeated, but they beat Western Reserve, and they haven't done that since 2004 or something like that. So coming into the Western Reserve game, I was kind of on the fence about it, but that kind of just solidified it for me.
Couple thoughts from the comment section. Larry saying Leetonia is the most surprising, and Michael Page, and he's got a point here. This is a team that doesn't get a whole lot of pub. It's West Branch, 4-0 and on fire, and they did it with a backup quarterback this past week. So interesting as we continue to kind of sort through the YSN teams, who's who, so to speak. Anthony Romo, who do you have?
Well, I was going to go with United, but
sorry.
Quinn took that from me. It's okay. I'll go from a homer standpoint and take Hubbard, because honestly, this team just around Hubbard, no one really expected this team to do what they've done so far. This senior class this year has never really been known for their athletics. Coming up, they haven't had the greatest set of athletes. And from last year, we had to replace all but one starter on the line. We had at the beginning of the year 2 freshmen starting on the line. Off to a 4-0 start. It's been pretty cool to watch.
I'll take the homer any day. Jamie, go ahead.
For me, I'm going to go with Edison, man. Week 1 when we were looking at the games and I saw Edison, I was like, there is absolutely no way I'm taking them. They went 0-10 last year, 4-6 the year before that, 2-8 before that, and then 3-7 before that. They're 3-1 right now. Edison, they've shocked me, and they look pretty dang good.
They're on fire. Muncie, don't say South Range.
No.
South Range.
That's not a surprise to anybody. So. No, I was a little upset Quinn stole mine. I was Jackson Milton. Jackson Milton being undefeated right now is impressive because like nobody's talking about those guys. Nobody. Like everybody's just. I mean, people are forgetting about them when they say, "Oh, let's talk about the teams that are undefeated in our area," and all of a sudden it's like, "Oh yeah, that's right, Jackson Milton is too." So, yeah, I like them.
Ty, what do you think about the most surprising team thus far? You're muted.
It's hard. I was thinking Jackson Milton. That's a pretty impressive team. Canfield, they were 7-3 last year, so I mean I don't know if I would call that surprising. I think I kind of want to go with Billy Mack and say Ursuline. I mean 3-1. Your one loss is against Fitch though, so one of the top 5 schools I would say in the area. But I mean just to turn it around from the record last year, I believe it was 2-8, and then they're beating teams. They're beating the Boardmans, and I mean Cheney in week 1 still scoring 29 points in that monsoon that they had to play through. I think that they're starting to putting the pieces together now, and they're really learning how to win. And I think this Ursuline Irish team is one that going forward is going to be a pretty dangerous team, especially in the playoffs.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Jamie stole Mike's thunder. Mike, go ahead.
He actually did not, and I am going to go with the homer type of pick with Jamie here and take my Beaver Local Beavers because I honestly think if you went around and asked some random people, gave them Beaver Local schedule and said, what do you think this team is going to do this year? They would say 2-4 or 3-3, and they're sitting at 3-1 right now. Probably should be sitting at 4-0 if they didn't shoot themselves in the foot about 10 times against East Liverpool. Tanner Johnston was known as a runner for about the last 2 years. And this year he is throwing the football for 100 yards a game, and he's rushing for it 100 yards a game. He's got a lot of senior targets to throw to that have experience. They've got a 3 running back set with Joe Mon, Caleb White, and Devin Salisbury now that he's back from a hip flexor injury earlier in the season. That defense against the run game has been a brick stone wall, and that isn't what they were known for doing in the past. They've improved in every aspect of the game, and probably sitting at a lot better than what people would have them sitting at. And they've won the past 2 games by 49 points. I think that this team has surprised a lot of people around the valley.
What is the magic at Pastor Field that Beaver Local has found? I mean, they're putting
DJ,
up numbers.
2 words, light show.
Is that what it is? They just want to see the light show?
The light show. Everybody wants to see the light show. But
right,
it's Johnston finding the ability to throw a lot better is a huge factor in that. He scrambles out. People are going to think he's going to run. They run verts, and he plants the foot, throws deep. He's got 4 guys wide open.
This is big. Hey, kudos to your dad as well, by the way.
Yeah, and they'll get a big test this week against another team. It was surprising that
two big tests. They got to go to Edison, and then they got Bel Air at Pastor Field.
It's going to be interesting, and you're going to have the split duties down in Edison.
Yeah,
Beaver Local Edison. You're going to be the main man in charge. You and Ty.
Yes, I am. It's not Ty Bartel, unfortunately, but it's still a great Ty to work with over at Edison. Can't wait for it.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, be back, and we're going to talk some NFL. Lots of injuries, guys. Which one was the biggest? We'll analyze that and have our picks, as well as talk about the weekend that was in the NFL. Was it a good weekend in the NFL? No heartache here in Cleveland and Pittsburgh. We'll find out. No heartache in Dallas either, Jamie. I'll throw you in there. We'll be back in just a moment right here on the Ysn Power Hour, brought to you by these sponsors.
Friday night, it's fresh limousine. I'm feeling pretty good about myself, like I'm living the dream. Platform shoes, strutting down the street. It's gonna get hot here, I hope you can handle the heat.
Over the years, you watched us grow, and as we've done, so has the Myers Family Insurance team.
Thanks to all of you who have trusted our families to help you with your Medicare needs.
Myers Family Insurance looks forward to helping you now for years to come. So call our family today and remind them how cute we are.
Myers Family Insurance continues to be the area's resource for all your Medicare and retirement needs. Call today, 330-286-3044.
teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is here, so it's all hands on deck to make sure your plans still meet your needs for 2020.
Call us today.
And welcome back to the YSN Power Hour. Quick shout out while I have a chance to Coach Seidel and the Sebring Trojans, their first win of the season. Want to make sure I give them some love. Coach Seidel, constant fan of YSN, and especially right now, loves the Power Hour, boys. He's got an hour between work and practice, sits on the golf cart, turns on the Power Hour, and loves what he hears the majority of the time. And when Quinn's not trashing the Trojans here on the Power Hour.
Quinn brought him
you got to
some
see the big win.
Yeah, I did.
And they burnt that whole town down. I heard. It was exciting for them, a trophy game. They had the camo jerseys on, and Coach Seidel was loving every minute of it. A great rivalry with Waterloo and Sebring, and a great game. Turns out to be a great win for Trojan country. So congratulations once again to Sebring. Proud of you guys out there. Continue to work hard, and that's the kind of things that you can look forward to. Guys, some bad news this weekend for a lot of teams when you look at the NFL. 21 significant injuries in the NFL this weekend. We talked about it. Mac, you and I talked about it prior to the show. This is what happens when Corona and not having preseason and not having the opportunity to work out the way you're used to and prepare yourself the way you should. There's a lot. I'm going to go through these injuries. You tell me. We'll go around once. You tell me who the biggest one is from these injuries. Number one is I can't even Nick Bosa. I like that one is a devastating. Like there's no question. Until Saquon Barkley, then you have I'm going down the list here. Christian McCaffrey. Then you have Drew Lock, a starting quarterback for the Broncos. Cortland Sutton, receiver for the Broncos. Jimmy Garoppolo, obviously Jimmy G. Everybody knows him. Devontae Adams, Tavon Young. Then you have Malik Hooker, who is a Newcastle guy. Brandon Scherf. Is it Scherf? Scurf? I don't know. A knee injury for Washington, a guard. Brian Jones. Raheem Mostert. Then you have Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor was probably the weirdest, though, because he went to the hospital prior to the game with chest pains. So that's a little crazy. Anthony Barr of the Vikings with a shoulder injury. Brandon Linder, center for the Jags. Isaac Sumalo of the Eagles. Paris Campbell of the Colts. Caleb McGarry, an offensive
Tyrod
tackle.
Taylor had cracked ribs coming into the game, though. So that
Yeah, and then
could've-
he felt chest pains. That's why they sent him.
Bruce Irvin, a defensive end for the Seahawks. Joe Noteboom from the Rams, and Will Fuller of the Texans. Corey Linsley. I mean, the list goes on and on. Corey Linsley, Brashard Perriman, Chris Hogan, Connor McGovern, Jonathan Joseph. I mean, there are a ton of injuries. Which of all of those, I know I threw a lot at you at once, which of all of those is the biggest loss for a big team? Mac, go first.
I don't think anybody's affected injuries the way that the 49ers have. So, I mean, with the combination of your star defensive player and your two-star, because Sherman's out right now, too. So you got Bosa and Sherman on the defensive side and Garoppolo and a lot of those missing guys, running backs, wide receivers spread out. There's nobody that's got more injury issues than the 49ers.
You're the kiss of death. You know that? Weren't you going to root for the 49ers?
No.
Lies.
I just said that so Kate would be happy.
And now she's really not happy. So
Not my problem. My team's not – there's going to be 3 wins this year.
Quinn, who's the biggest loss?
I mean, when you look at it, I mean, you're losing a whole lot of offense and a whole lot of team. I mean, Barkley's a big part of their offense. And, I mean, the Giants are a dumpster fire anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I mean, I'm going to go with Denver losing not only your starting quarterback but your top wideout. I mean, that's what they're known for, I guess, is passing with Drew Lock, because Lord knows what their running back is like nowadays. But I mean, their backup right now, Lindsey's out too, so you're missing a lot from there, and we'll see.
Billy's getting some shade from his significant other, with Kate Kelly saying famous Billy McCartney words, "Not my problem." And if you know Billy, you've heard that a lot. Anthony Romo, who is the biggest drop with this injury?
I was going to go with the 49ers because another injury that you didn't even mention. So they had Nick Bosa, Garoppolo, and Mostert, and they also had Solomon Thomas go down in the first quarter. So they were battling yesterday without both of their starting defensive ends and then quarterback and running back. But I'm going to have to go with the Broncos because with Drew Lock. Because, I mean, Jeff Driscoll came in, and if you watched that game yesterday, I mean, he was okay, but he seemed clueless out there. And he still almost got the win against the Steelers, but I think Drew Lock's the biggest loss for a potential contending team in Denver.
Jamie, what do you think?
As much as I want to go with Nick Bosa and the 49ers, I feel like everyone's kind of said it. So I'm going to have to go with CMC. I mean, he's a little banged up, right? Didn't we mention him?
Yep, we did.
I mean, that's got to be the biggest thing for me. I mean, he had the most, scrimmage yards last season. I mean, he's a huge threat. Carolina Panthers brought in new head coach, brought in Teddy Bridgewater. They don't look half bad, but if you take away CMC, you're going to lose absolutely everything in Carolina.
Muncie, you look like you're doing some research right now, and it's on a computer and not on your notepad.
Yeah, because I was completely unaware. I have Mostert in my.
Hey, don't feel bad, Paul. I think I had Barkley.
You did, and you still beat me.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley.
And I played against. I'm battling against EB, and he had McCaffrey, but McCaffrey still put 20-some points up first. But Mostert put up almost 19. So
yeah,
McCaffrey put up 24. So, but
I believe
I was gonna say McCaffrey, I mean, because that's big for them. So, I mean, that was gonna be my pick because I mean he obviously was the number one pick. I mean, that's who EB took in our league. So
when I said Mostert, I'm gonna have to go back and watch the tape. When I said Mostert, Paul's eyes probably lit up like, "Hey, I have him." I didn't even know he was going.
If you watch, I clearly my camera angle changes because I went on to go on my computer and I'm like, really? He got hurt? I was like, he still gave me 18 points yesterday, and actually just says he's doubtful right now. So
EB saying Muntz is getting worked, and I still got Breeze.
Yeah, and I got Jacobs. So hopefully Drew Brees goes down in the first drive. This injury, continuation of injuries. Hopefully he blows his knee out in the first drive.
But the thing is,
runs wild.
But the Steelers and the Giants in week 1 suffered decent injuries. And then the 49ers playing at MetLife as well were the most injury-ridden team yesterday. And the same people that put the turf in at MetLife, which is being a huge excuse or thing to point to for these injuries, the same people that put in that turf put it in at New Orleans. So if we see a lot of injuries tonight, I do think that no preseason and turf could be attributed to that.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah?
The game's in Las Vegas.
All right, then. It doesn't matter.
He's just here for the light show, Paul. He's just here for the light
show, man. I'm just here for the light shows.
Ty, who's the biggest loss of the weekend?
I'd have to agree with Jamie. I mean, if you want to talk about a single injury that truly affects a team almost everywhere on the field, from passing, receiving. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, 1,000 season in receiving and rushing yards last year. He's what gets the Panthers wins. Because, I mean, they don't have that premier quarterback. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater, not a bad quarterback. I'd say average, maybe above average on certain days. But, I mean, a guy that you could just turn to offensively that you know is always going to be like a clear-cut number one, either on the rush or even on the pass, Christian McCaffrey. And once that is taken out of an offensive scheme, I think you're going to see the Panthers start struggling a lot on offense now.
Down to the guru, that is Michael McKenzie. Who was the biggest loss this weekend?
I don't know if you could call me a guru. I don't even know where the game's being played at tonight. But I hate to be the guy that goes with the conventional pick and be obvious, but Yeah, I'm not no guru. I'm 16 years old. But I got to go with Nick Bosa here. The 49ers defense, look at this defense. Richard Sherman is the most rapidly declining cornerback, in my opinion, in the NFL, and he's banged up. They lost to Forrest Buckner in free agency, and they lost Solomon Thomas. The only stable left in that defense was Nick Bosa, and he's gone for the season. I don't see the 49ers not even getting back to the NFC Championship, but they might have troubles making the playoffs with all these injuries. Jimmy G's expected to miss weeks. Raheem Mostert possibly, depending on the MRI. Coming back. Nick Bosa, again, out for the season. We'll see what happens with Solomon Thomas, Richard Sherman. And again, they don't have DeForest Buckner like they did last year. That front seven's hurting. That secondary is hurting. The run game, which was so successful, is going to hurt, as well as the pass game, even though Jimmy G sucked for the past 3 weeks for the 49ers. Any San Francisco fan will tell you that. This team is going to have a hard time trying to do the same things they did last year.
I'm interested. I heard that because Jimmy G's out, there might be some opportunity for a certain former quarterback of the 49ers.
Dear Lord.
That's the rumor. That's the rumor right now.
It's a rumor for a reason, DJ.
0 chance.
I don't think there's 0 chance.
0, Michael. 0.
Billy,
I'm a
there's a
freaking
chance for
guru.
everything.
Next.
All right.
Blaine Gabbert, right?
Yeah, Blaine Gabbert. That's
Yeah.
Who did you guys think I was talking about?
Exactly.
Joe Montana?
Joe Montana.
He's on Skechers commercials. Real quick, Quinn, give it to it. Lakers update. Quinn Bushko.
We're sitting at 2-0 in the Western Conference Finals, thanks to some very, very crappy defense by Mason Plumlee. So thank you to another failed Duke NBA player. 2-0. LeBron's going to win 4th ring.
I love how he has the Lakers update with the greatest player behind him.
Absolutely.
You're better off out here, young man. You're better off out here. We also have an update on the Big Dogs of the Valley. Congratulations to the Bear Brothers Big Dogs of the Valley, both from Mineral Ridge. It is my boy JRE, Jalen. Wait. I always get this one wrong. Jalen Royal Island. That's what it is. Jalen Royal Island. Congratulations to him and to Caitlin Lesko of Mineral Ridge, both the Week 2 winners of the Baird Brothers Big Dogs of the Valley. We will have the announcement for Week 3 nominees tomorrow, and you can vote for them up through Sunday night. So make sure you get your PA announcing and all that stuff done on Friday night, so that way people can vote for them.
A little note here too. Something with 2 of our YSN schools, which is good, is if you go to clevelandbrowns.com /home things, South Range is up for being one of the South Range and Struthers is up one of the games of the week from Cleveland Browns. So you can go on there and vote. And if they win, they get like a prize for the school or something like that. But there's only 4 schools on there to vote for, and South Range and Struthers made it for this week. So
very cool. Well, congratulations to them, regardless of anything going on. I know tonight on YSN we have a volleyball game. I believe Anthony has it, so we'll check out. Make sure you go to ysnlive.com/ I think it's live.
Western Reserve.
So we will have that volleyball game for you. And tomorrow I will have the volleyball game for you, Wellsville and Valley Christian, as Dan McKinstry goes again to try and become the all-time leadingest winning coach. That doesn't make any sense. All-time winningest coach in the state of Ohio for volleyball. So something you're going to want to check out tomorrow on YSN. All those games are absolutely free, and you can check them out about 7 o'clock. Volleyball is one of those weird sports you just never know when it's going to start or when it's going to finish. So keep that in mind. Also, before we get to our G-Burger from What's Your Beef, if you're looking to get YSN gear, go to freshprinceyoungstown.com. They have an entire line of clothing for YSN. You can get our Brick by Brick t-shirt, the Dirty Birds t-shirt, Don't Cross the Stream shirt, and so much more. A Po-Nose shirt and all that. So make sure you go to freshprinceyoungstown.com and get your stuff ordered today, because you want it tomorrow or this week to wear it and represent YS Nation very proud. So all that being said, You know what time it is, boys. It's G Burley Farms. What's your beef? Let's get down and dirty with it. Let's get down to Michael down in the bottom corner. Mike, what's your beef today?
I really don't know if it's going to be the injury bug affecting me in my 18 fantasy leagues, or if it's people that are saying if Drew Lock was in that game, there's a different result. Drew Lock was 1 for 5 with 20 yards before he got injured and had some of the worst decision-making I've seen from an opposing quarterback against the Steelers in a long time. He's in that game. I think that, yes, it's different because the Steelers win by more. Jeff Driscoll played an inconsistent but a good game for the most part, hit some of his targets, but that Steelers defense needs to tighten the pass game up a little more. Still, yeah, nice side, Billy Mack. Talk to me when you're undefeated. But yeah, I do have to find some replacements for.
First off, I won the last 2 weeks in our picks on Fridays. Come talk to me.
Well, you're saying about me talking about the Steelers, so yeah. But yeah, I still got to find replacements for Saquon Barkley and CMC. That kind of pisses me off.
And you're going to have to come talk to me about trades for all the running backs that I have that are healthy. So there you go.
There's a thing called a waiver wire, Billy Mack.
Go ahead. Pick up your waiver.
I will.
Ty, on to you. Please save us.
I mean, I really don't have any beef. No injury bug really affected me. I mean, knock on wood for fantasy this week. We saw a great game Friday. I guess if there was anything, watching the Pats lose last night to the Seahawks was kind of disappointing. But Cam Newton looked really good, so I'm kind of happy about Cam's comeback tour.
Respect.
So.
Muncie?
My beef is with the player IQ of these NFL players.
Uh-oh.
You've seen it in the past. It happened how many years ago where, they were in an overtime game and I can't remember who the quarterback was, but he was like, well, I didn't know we can end in a tie. And then I'm sorry, Jamie, to crap on your team, but how the hell on an onside kick does the team who's receiving the onside kick not realize you can go get the ball anytime you want? Go get it. Just run up and grab the ball. They all watched it like they were watching like a dog walk across the street. They're all like going, oh, and I'm like, go get the ball, recover the ball, and you win the game. No, they let it roll 10 yards and the Cowboys fall on it. It's like, wait a second, either you're that stupid or you have a terrible coach who doesn't explain special teams to you. I'm watching that game going, how the hell did they just do that? Like, they literally watched the ball roll 10 yards. Like, oh, I can't touch the ball till it gets 10 yards. What are you thinking? Like, how do you not know that from, like, at least high school football, but, like middle school football even on onside kicks? Go get the ball. Go get it. Be smart. They're not. They're idiots. And they wonder why they lost the Super Bowl blowing a lead like that, too. So, you know what? Pile on the Falcons because they're a bunch of morons.
Wow. All right.
My favorite was 17.
I don't know how I can really follow that up. Paul just kind of went right at him, but beef with anyone that doesn't say Dak's elite. I mean, yeah, should we have won that game? No chance. But hey, you get lucky every once in a while. Dak was 34-47, 450 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, also ran 3 in. I mean, how could you not say this dude's elite? We spotted the Falcons 20 points, and Dak led us to the promised land.
All right,
Elite?
Romo, go ahead.
He's great, but not elite.
I don't
He's
have
elite.
any beef today.
He's elite.
You got nothing, Romo?
I don't have anything.
All right, Quinn, you got to have something. You've been 0 for the last week and a half.
Dak's not elite. First off, not elite.
Correct.
Second off, I hate saying this, but it's with Paul, except it's not in football. It's basketball. It's just not knowing situational stuff. Mason Plumlee couldn't. I don't know what the hell he was doing. I'm thankful. I'm very thankful for it, as he gave Anthony Davis a wide open look. But I just lack of IQ and just stupidity. It's terrible.
All right, Billy Mack, go ahead.
I ordered a T-shirt on September 7th. Okay, from a company that I won't even promote right now because they don't deserve it. And it is the 21st of September, and I have yet to receive my shirt. UPS lady came running up the door because she heard the dogs barking, threw something, and ran away. And I got super stoked, and I'm like, it's finally here. It's finally here. No, it wasn't. It was something for Kate because she orders something every day.
That's it?
That's my beef.
Is it this one?
Yep.
Oh.
Still not here.
Mine is mine's a little bit interesting. If you were so lucky to have been in HQ on Friday night, you would have seen me sound off, so to speak, on a situation at hand and some of the emails that I've received. I'm going to protect the names of the innocent. That way, nobody. But I think it's. I need to show this because this is a frustrating part of what we do. Now, naturally, what we do, for those of you don't know, we have broadcasts every Friday, sometimes Saturday nights, and we are doing pay-per-view, not by choice, but we have to do it in order to raise revenue for what we had to spend in order to have every team have a video feed. Which also, I want to point out, we had no idea we were going to have capabilities until a week and a half before the season. So in a week and a half, everybody on this board, plus so many others, had to scramble and make sure that every team had a camera and Wi-Fi and everything. And Wi-Fi is spotty at best in some schools. We'll just put it that way. I'm not deflecting the blame, but I am saying that it's not always going to be our fault. Not everything we do is our fault. I will not make excuses, but I will say that we don't have the opportunity to have 1080 Wi-Fi and being able to plug into places. But this one got me. Mr. Yoakley, I'm writing this second email because I'm absolutely furious. I bought the ticket to watch the Howland Boardman game in good faith to be able to watch my nephew. Thanks to your broadcast being offline, I missed my nephew playing in his first varsity game, all caps, as you see. You say on the news broadcast that you have every game, but here I sit having paid for that game I did not watch. Please know that I will never purchase a ticket from your site again. I am extremely disappointed, and I expect a refund. The game being offline is absolutely ridiculous. I will never get the chance to watch his first time taking the field in a varsity game. Thank you for robbing me of this moment.
Wow.
This set me off. There has been so many times that we as a company have gone out of our way to make sure we list every name, write every name, do everything we can to make it a pleasant experience. We didn't do this on purpose. I'm not going to point the finger at anybody else, but being able to not get the game online is a situation for us that we take very seriously. You thinking that me personally, I robbed you of that moment, couldn't be further from the truth. We wanted that game on for various reasons. Number one being that we would like to repay some of the debt that we've created through what we have here of having 50-some schools. We want to be able to announce your son, your daughter, whoever, your nephew, doesn't matter. We want to be able to have that. You thinking that we did this on purpose, I'm going to say this one time, shame on you. Shame on you for pointing the finger at us thinking we did this on purpose. We didn't. And for you to send me 2 emails when you don't know who I am from Joe on the street, other than if you see me on the news. I mean, listen, I understand when we take this microphone, it's a pipe bomb, right? We can say and do whatever we want because we're on the internet. But let me say something. I'm a human being just like all these other guys. And if you think that doesn't bother me and keep me up at night, that your nephew didn't make it on YSN, then you're wrong, because it does. Our goal is to be great, and we're taking steps in order to do that. And by failing sometimes, yes, we'll get up, we'll dust ourselves off. I've said this for the last 4 weeks. We will do it. But shaming me, shaming anybody that's trying to do something for these schools, these students, where it's not being done before, no. Shame on you. Shame on you for being that person that wants to be I'm going to be better than them. Like, I hope you feel bad about this. I hope when you sent that, there was a little bit of regret, because otherwise you're no better than anybody else. because we know we're not. We're just trying to do a job. We're trying to do it to the best of our ability. And if you're going to take it out on us, shame on you. So that's the G. Burbick Farms What's Your Beef, brought to you by G. Burbick Farms. Visit them on the web, gburbickfarms.com. That's going to do it for our show in 5 minutes of overtime. We will talk to you tomorrow from 3 to 4 right here on the Power Hour. Thanks for robbing me of that moment, guys. We'll see you later.